Good afternoon, my name is Casey Yates and I am the COO of Fundamental Footwear. Today we are going to discuss our interpretation of the business strategy game, and at this time I would like to introduce our CEO, Nick Person, and I would like to introduce our CFO, Elizabeth Monita. We are Fundamental Footwear, offering everyday athletes the soul to achieve their dreams. And our vision statement is we intend to lead the industry by providing every household with an affordable, reliable, and well-made shoe. In doing so, we aspire to exceed our customer expectations by offering the everyday athlete the soul to achieve their dreams. Our mission statement is, our mission is to inspire the everyday athlete with our affordable, reliable, and well-made athletic footwear at the lowest possible cost. Our objectives are to increase our SQ rating, to improve product quality, to produce superior products compared to our competitors, increase brand awareness and loyalty, and increase productivity of employees. The business level strategy that we went ahead and chose was the cost leadership strategy. We chose to implement the cost leadership because we felt that this strategy would be the most successful to implement, and we researched companies that were cost leaders, and from there we took some of the methods that they used and we went ahead and incorporated it in some of the methods and decisions that we used. And when we chose it, we chose to be a cost leader from the beginning. We knew it wasn't going to be easy, but that we would have to learn through trial and error. Okay? And this is just showing, like kind of what rounds we were going to choose, and we went ahead and chose it at the very beginning, which was practice round 1. And go ahead to the next slide. And the SWOT analysis, we're going to go ahead and hand that over to the CFO, Elizabeth Monita.
So now we're going to go ahead and discuss the SWOT analysis. We're going to be going over our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. First, we have our strengths. Our price. From the very beginning, we were committed to a cost leadership strategy. We wanted to offer our customers an affordable product that can also stand up to the competition. It was important to understand our customers. Knowing most online shoppers are bargain hunters, we thought they'd appreciate our prices. The fact that we've kept our prices consistent, we've managed to sustain a loyal customer base. Okay, and next we're going to be talking about models offered. For most of the years, our company stayed consistent with using 150 models. This number of models had a positive impact on our net profit and also provided customers with a decent selection without steering us away from our strategy. Now, rebate offers. Initially, it was tricky to see the effects the rebates had on our company. After year 12, we decided to increase our rebates, and this decision played out well with our image rating. It also helped to maintain a few customers. Marketing expenses. Our marketing expenses are very low compared to most of our competitors. Our firm takes pride in knowing that we can sustain a low percentage of net revenues on expenses and still remain a solid competitor in the market. Next, we have our weaknesses. Our free shipping. We started off by not allowing free shipping, then decided to try it in year 13. We agreed that the revenue we gained during the year did not compensate for the expenses and inventory required used to initiate the change. So we opted to eliminate the free shipping. Next, we have celebrity appeal. We understand the concept that celebrity appeal will help with exposure and gain the popular vote when incorporating a differentiation strategy. But it would almost be a contradiction to hire a celebrity for publicity while trying to maintain a cost leadership strategy. Next, we have advertising. Celebrity appeal and advertising goes hand in hand. It wouldn't make sense to invest a large sum of money on media advertising without celebrity appeal. Instead, our advertising expenses were carefully distributed to expenses that will promote our brand image of a reliable, reasonably priced shoe. Next, corporate social responsibility. CSR would only be of benefit to our firm if we opted to engage in it, so we decided not to entertain the fact of using green items or providing ethical training for our employees. The decision to not engage in it had no effect on our image rating. So next we have opportunities, and the first is build capacity. On average, our retailer demand is in all regions, we're usually at a negative number. We took on the opportunity to build more capacity in year 14 to exceed our retailer demand and offer more shoes in private label market. Since we already had existing plants in North America and Asia Pacific, it was beneficial for us to add capacity so we could increase our production of shoes. Next, we have an opportunity to enter the private label market. We took this opportunity in year 14. At the beginning of year 15, there was a surplus of shoes being offered in the private label market, causing the market to become extremely price competitive. Our success was dependent on our bid price, how it measured up to the rival company bids, and the amount change stores were demanding. A next opportunity we have is to build a new plant. We are not meeting the demand from our retailers and could be offering more shoes in the private label market to gain a larger market share in both markets. Should we build our new plant? After analyzing where our competitors have chosen to build plants in, we think that the most profitable would be to build in Latin America so we can utilize that plant for a private label market and wholesale market. So a next opportunity would be to incorporate corporate social responsibility. Our average image rating was about 61.5. Corporate social responsibility affects your image rating only through positive gains. Of course, some of the options have more weight than others, such as the use of green footwear materials, energy-efficient initiatives, and charitable contributions. When a company successfully implements these, it can boost your image rating anywhere from 15 to 20 points. But it depends on how many areas you use, the amount of money spent, and how many years you keep up with citizenship. Next, we have our threats. The first up is competitive pricing. After the first round, our competitors dropped their prices in the wholesale market and private label market to be more competitive with ours. We have had to analyze our prices and our competitors' prices every year to ensure that we offer a lower price than our competitors. It can get very competitive, especially in the private label market. Sometimes the lowest bid is down to the cents. You do not want to bank on winning lots of private label business because it's hard to determine if you'll be the lowest bidder. Next, we have decreased market shares. Since our market is extremely competitive in the branded and private label, it makes it difficult for any company to gain a large, substantial market share. In the branded market, our market share has fluctuated from 9.1% being the low and 16.8% being the high. While in the private label market, our market share has fluctuated from 5.7% being the low and 50.4% being the high. Our goal has been to dominate both the branded and private label market. Next, we have imitation by competitors. We learned early on that if a company is doing successfully, it is very common for other companies to mimic their strategy. After each year, you are able to analyze other companies and see what strategies they are implementing and how they are working in our industry. We noticed that ICE shoes were moving closer and closer to us in the wholesale segment starting in year 12 by decreasing their wholesale price close to ours. Brand awareness. Because we have chosen not to invest in advertising our brand like our competitors, we have noticed that it affects our retailer demand. Our competitors on average invest $11,500 in advertising, which is considerably more than we do. Year 11 and 12 were exceptionally tough years for fundamental footwear, but after the rough start, we continued to meet investors' expectations, which included earnings per share, return on equity, credit ratings, and investor stock price. Our image rating could be better, but we compensate in other areas of our firm, like most importantly, being able to offer a reliable and affordable product. And now I'm going to go ahead and give it to Nick, where he's going to discuss our competitors and how they affect our market.
All right, so we're going to talk about our closest competitors. We have two competitors that we have chosen. And the first one is Company I, otherwise known as I Shoes. They developed a cost leadership strategy, and their strengths were advertising and celebrity appeal, and their weaknesses were SQ rating and rebate offer. Compared to ours, we also incorporated a cost leadership strategy, and we had a weakness of SQ rating to a degree, and rebate offer was actually a strength for us, where for them, their strengths of advertising and celebrity appeal were both weaknesses for us. The second competitor we chose was Jumpstart Shoes, Company J. This is a little different. If you look at the BSG, they seem to be a little bit of a in the middle type of person, but they do fall into the cost leadership strategy. But their strengths of an SQ rating and models offered are also somewhat close to our strengths, and their weaknesses of advertising and celebrity appeal are also our weaknesses of advertising and celebrity appeal. All right, so the business level strategies of all the firms that we have. According to this chart, we made our own chart, and this chart has focused cost leadership with the low end and few models. And in this corner we have cost leadership, which has many models but is still low end. In differentiation, we have many models, but we're on the high end. And in focus differentiation, we have few models and we're in the high end. And in the middle, of course, is integrated. In BSG, we realized that in all reality, there was no focus cost leadership and there was no differentiation. Everyone tended to be in the focus differentiation and cost leadership with a couple in the middle to integrate it. This is a graph we made that has all the teams on it with their strategies and of course their strengths and weaknesses, but we're going to go into them individually here in just a moment. So first we had the focus differentiation strategy group, of which there was 4 or 5 companies. The first one was company A at Athens Footwear. They had the strengths of SQ rating and a weakness of price. Where company C, Custom Comfort, had a strength of SQ rating and a weakness of models. Where Empire Footwear, of course, another strength of SQ rating, as you'll see that probably every focus differentiator is going to have, and a weakness of celebrity appeal, which actually was a little different than most focus differentiation groups. And then we have gliders, and their strength again was SQ rating, and their weakness was the amount of models. We're going to the integrated, which is half differentiation, half cost leadership strategy. They're the middle group. And we have company B, which is Beach to Brick, and their strength was free shipping, and they had the main weakness of SQ rating. With company D having a main strength of an SQ rating and a weakness of advertising. And company H had a strength with price, and they had weaknesses with SQ ratings. So now we go into the cost leadership strategy. And we have iShoes, with their strength was celebrity appeal, which is a little different actually for a cost leader, and their weakness was an SQ rating. Then we go to Jumpstart Shoes, where their strengths was in models, and their weakness was an SQ rating, which is more typical. Then, okay, now we have all the team decision-making process. So in the beginning, we decided from the very beginning we wanted to be a low-cost leader and to gain market share. We saw ourselves sort of like Walmart. And in the middle, we increased our prices just a little bit to go with the market, but we built a lot more capacity, and we entered the private label market, and towards the end, we actually entered the private label market and pursued it more aggressively. And we increased our quality just a little bit, and once again increased our price just a little bit, and again aggressively pursued the private label market. So the implementation of our strategy here over the course of the BSG was to cut costs in the branded and private label market, and to reduce advertising expenses while we were doing it. We continue to try to reduce our advertising expenses so we wouldn't have to raise our price as much. With so many diversified firms, it was hard to keep our price and be competitive. So we had to continue to find ways to drop our price down, because there would be companies that would only be about $5 to $10 more expensive and have an SQ rating of 10. So then we increased our delivery time to retailers to kind of cut down on cost in that area as well. And then we reduced employee incentives, and we opted not to bid on any celebrities at all during the whole course, because it's just not something we felt like we'll be spending our money as wisely. And then we opted not to incorporate any CSR, and once again, trying to keep costs low, to keep prices low, to be the absolute lowest price on the market. And the factors that contributed to our success. So, we consistently offered the lowest prices in everything but the private label market, in which we still pursued to be the lowest cost, just not always obtaining it. Then the SQ rating compared to our price was actually relatively good. Only 1 year did we have the lowest SQ rating by ourselves. Other than that, we managed to keep at the bottom of the SQ ratings with several other companies while still offering a lower price. Then we entered the private label market, which really helped us because we were able to sell all of our inventory of shoes consistently. And then we started building additional plant capacity as well. And that helped us because with the addition of the private label market, we did sell all of our shoes. And all of those put together equaled our success. And now Casey will come back and give advice to our students.
Hi, my name is Casey, and I'm going to go ahead and do the advice for future students. As a group, we decided to really sit down and think about what's some advice that we would have liked to have at the beginning of the class. And we came up with, do your research on competitor strategies. During BSG, you want to really, go into BSG and look at the decisions and reports and see what your competitors are doing. So that way, you can kind of see what's working, what's not working, and who your competitors are so you can be prepared for each year that follows. Read BSG Player's Guide twice. The first time you read it, you really, it's just so much information, you really have a hard time comprehending. So you kind of want to, maybe read it twice or, highlight some areas that you really didn't understand and go back and reread them. Research companies in the real world that are similar to the strategy you plan to implement. One thing that we did is because we wanted to be a cost leadership and we wanted it to be focused on low cost, we went ahead and looked at, companies like Walmart, and we saw, what they did. They did anything and everything to cut their costs. Don't be afraid to ask Professor Love for input. Don't procrastinate. The last thing you want to do is procrastinate because this goes by so very, very, very quickly. Take practice rounds seriously. One thing that we didn't do is we were like, we don't want to show, the other companies what our strategies are. And what we should have done is really use that opportunity to see what would have happened if we would have used, some of the strategies that we wanted to use, and because it doesn't count against you. And then meet often to discuss results and plans for next year's decisions. After every year, you want to meet and you want to talk about, this is what happened. Hey, this is what so-and-so's doing. What do you think about changing this? So then that way you can be really successful at the business strategy simulation. Any questions? All right, well, thank you for your time and we appreciate it and good luck.